Today we're going to go over forms in PHP and HTML. We're going to be using this Advanced Higher Computing revision site from Robert Gordon's college and their computing department. So we're going to have a look at forms. So you can get to the forms section from the web design. We're going to look at forms and PHP forms. So we'll start with HTML forms first. So what is a form? Form basically is something that you fill in to get information from a customer or from a client or something like that you want to get information from the user anyway. Okay, a basic form might look something like this. Booking search page. Enter either a hotel reference or customer number. You got some command words here now. So you got to have form action equals booking results.php. It's going to access this page here, this PHP page, and then it's going to use the method post, and we're going to go over what get and post are. It's then going to use input type text. It's going to give it a name as hotel ref, and then another input type text of custom num. So these are boxes that you can fill in, and we'll see that down below. So it says there the action attribute sets the details of which file will process the form. So we're going to process this on booking results.php. The method attribute states how the form will be submitted, get or post. And the name property of inputs will be used by the PHP file to access their contents. And we'll have a look at that soon. So options, buttons and select elements. So obviously you've got various ways of using a form. So we've got various options here. So option, buttons, select elements or drop-down boxes are slightly different in that it can supply different values as the user does not type anything. So the code below creates a drop-down box with all its months listed. And you're going to say it like this. Please enter the number of the month, January, blah, 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 blah. And it gives you the whole section that you can choose from. So it looks like this. So form action birthday search.php. Remember, this is the PHP file that we're going to use to create this, or action on it. It's using post, so it's going to send it somewhere. Then some text here, a line break, and then we have select name equals month, and it's going to be required, so they need to put this information in. And then we've got various options, so 1 to 12, and we're going to go have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, and they're going to submit that value equals search. So when you click the search button, it's going to submit. You'll notice that value of text display can be different, so your value can be changed all the way through. So the value selected will be accessed using the following PHP. Month equals post. So your variable month equals the post and then the month that we're putting in there. You can also have radio buttons. Again, they are just another method of inputting information. So when the user selects one of these radio buttons and submits it, it's submitted to the search page and via the post method. Okay, so input type radio, name is age, and then the value is whatever we're going to show up here. So under 18 is the value, 20 to 30 is the value, over 30 is the value. I've also got some text here for displaying that. Okay, so let's have a look at how that looks in PHP. So I'm going to use this side navigation bar, and we're going to look at form data. So it's quite an in-depth page, so we're going to go over it together. So form handling methods. So we spoke earlier that two methods for sending data to PHP page, get or post. The examples I gave you earlier were all of post, but there's also get. And we're going to look at the advantages and disadvantages of these in a bit. So let's explain what they are. So get sends its variables in the URL of the browser. Has a fairly low limit on the number of characters. It appends form data into the URL, name, value, pairs, etc. Delimited by an and. Okay, so you'll see an symbol when it's spaced out. Post sends its variables hidden from the user, more secure, and has a larger character limit. Its downside is that the data is not automatically resent if users use their back button. I'm sure you've all seen that lots of times when you're clicking back, you need to restart the form. Form submissions with post cannot be bookmarked. Okay, so form submissions, you cannot bookmark that form. So this was an example. So you've got done by post here, and it's going to look something like this. So your name, email address, and comments, and then your submit. So when they click submit, it's going to post it to this first form.php. Assigning server-side variables. So the code below will store the variables that have been passed in using the form above. You'll notice that the identifiers and the square brackets match up with the name of inputs in the HTML form. So up here. Okay. So get, we have, this is your PHP page for get. So name, get, mail, get, comment, get. Okay, and it's going to say what's happening. And then post, that's the opposite. So name, post, mail, post, comment, post, and we're going to see. So this assigns the values from the form to the server-side PHP variables. The identifier and the square brackets is the name given to the form control. Okay, so when to use get or post. So get is the default method if you don't specify, and it is least secure. So as the variables are sent in the URL, should not be used as sensitive information. So passwords, usernames should never be sent by get. There's also a size limitation set by the browsers, approximately 2,000 characters. Okay, so this is, see there is the hypersand that spaces it out. Okay, and then post, if you're updating data or sensitive information is being passed, this is due to it not visible in the URL. So whenever you're sending sensitive information, always use post. And then you got advantages and disadvantages of each. So we'll go through the advantages and disadvantages. So the advantages of get: if security is not an issue, the URL can be bookmarked, allowing it to be reused without having to complete and submit the original form. If there's a network connection issue when the form is submitted, the browser will automatically resend the form. Get submissions can be cached. If the same submission is used regularly, for example, form data used to generate the same database query, this could have a significant effect on efficiency, and can be useful if the form is used to select navigation options. However, there's disadvantages. So the form data in the constructed URL is visible and so less secure. URLs can only contain ASCII codes, which will cause issues if the form data contains non-ASCII characters. URL constructed will be stored in the user's web browsing history, making it inappropriate for sensitive data. For example, if you're using a public computer, someone could just refresh that form and it could come up with your data. URLs have a limited number of characters, so approximately 2,000, which limits in the form data submitted. So if you've got a lengthy comment, someone can't write what they need to get over. Advantages of post: the submitted form data is not visible. Advantages of post: the submitted form data is not visible and so more secure than get. Non-ASCII characters can be submitted within the form data. There is no URL character limit, so the form data can be much larger. However, there are some disadvantages of post. Just ignore that, it's supposed to say post. The submitted form cannot be bookmarked for later use. If there is a network issue while the form is being submitted, the browser will ask the users to resubmit the form. Or if use of the back button in your browser, the form will require to be resubmitted. And here you see your things in confirm form resubmission. So you'll see that a lot when you press back, it'll say, do you want to resubmit the form again, etc. Alright, so that is some examples and bits of notes that you can get from this Advanced Higher Computing Revision website, and I'll link that down in Teams, and wherever you're using it in class you can make sure you reference that. It has lots of information on computer systems, analysis, software design, web design, databases and testing, so everything that you will need for the 4 main topics. So what I want you to do this week, I want you to look at the forms section. Okay, so that is exercise 7 and 8 we're going to have a look at this week. So if we just scroll down, exercise 7, basic HTML forms. So as PHP server-side is useful for processing forms, your first example will be used to get information from a form. This will be in 2 parts. So part 1 is a HTML page with the form, which will be used in post method. The other will be a PHP script to display the information. So here we have the HTML code, and what we're going to do is we're going to put that into our text editor and save it into our web server, and then we're going to put the PHP script also into our text editor and save it. So let's go ahead and try that out. So I've got my text editor now open, and what I want to do is I want to try and put this information in. So I want you to type it out, but I'm just going to copy and paste it to save time. But I really need you guys to copy it out word for word, just to give you experience of typing it out. So we're going to save it, is firstform.html, firstform.html, and remember it is just a HTML form, it's not a PHP form, so it doesn't require the PHP extension, it's a HTML file. So just click save. So we're going to do the same for the PHP script. So we're going to get a new text editor document, make sure we've selected that, file, new file, and we're going to put it into where we need to go. So again, I'm going to copy it in, you're going to type it out. We're going to save it as firstform.php. So remember, firstform.php is in our action. So it's going to use that action, it's going to find that information from this page, and it's going to put it into the correct PHP script, which is down here. So let me just save that as firstform.php, save as firstform.php this time, not HTML. And we've got the two tasks. Okay, we've got two web pages. So I want to start my web servers now. So let me just do that. It's brought up the page that we need. Okay, so we need to go to my website, and it should have all our pages. So firstform.html. You type in your information. So you type in your full name. So I'm just going to put Mr. Reed, and I'm just going to put my email. So chris.reed for Hill, and then your comments, hello, and then click submit. Thanks for the comment, Mr. Reed. Hello, we will reply to Mr. Reed as soon as we can. So that is worked perfectly the way I expect. So if we have a look at the code again for what we were just doing, it's going to say this here. So it's going to get the name, it's going to get the email, it's going to get the comment. It's going to then echo out some things. So it's going to echo out thanks for the comment, and it's going to echo out the name variable. And then it's going to comment out the comment variable. We'll reply to your email with your email address, and that is the mail variable that got there as soon as we can. So once you get your two pages working, one with the firstform.html and the firstform.php, we're going to now have a look at using a get form. So again, it's going to use the get now. So we're going to do two parts again. So we're going to do the first get form, so it's slightly different. So you need to make another page, so another file, so new file, and this time is going to be called first get form. So again, I'm going to copy it in, you're going to type it out, and it's going to say it's going to first get form.php method get. So it's slightly different. So I'm going to save it, file, save as, first get form.html. It's in the htdocs folder. Saved it. We're then going to have a look at this. So the PHP form. We're going to, this is the first form, but this time it's using get. So I'm going to create a new file. File new. And we're going to copy it in. You're going to type it out. First, I'm going to save it. So they've just called it first form.php, and that's very similar to the other one. So I'm going to call it first get form.php because it's slightly different. So we're going to action them too. So we're going to have a look at them. So we're going to go back to the web server. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to open up the first form. So let me just refresh this to bring up the other forms. So first get form.html. It's got two things here, so it's only asking for the name. There's no comment because remember with get there's less scope for adding in full comments because you're only limited to the 2000 characters. So Mr. Reed, and then it's my email address is there, and then submit. And if you have a look up here, it has the full URL in this URL. So it has the Mr. Reed and my email in the form, so not secure at all. So you have to watch that. Okay, but that is what we've done. We've managed to have a look at that. So you can see that it's already saying that here, so you have to watch and be careful. So I want you to get that information. I want you to get those pages done. I would like you to do those 2 exercises, give me screenshots, and have a look at that, and continue with the PHP on W3 Schools. Right, thank you. See you next week.